back and forth. Okay.
Perfect.
Can you both hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. That's great. I'm just going to close my blind though. It's really bright. It might be raining, but it's still bright. There we go. Oh, that's better. So how's life in the wonderful city of Vernon?
Wet right now.
Oh, same
we
here.
We had some rain last night, and they're doing some work on our roof to put a cell tower up. So we've got 6 floors of flooding going on right now. So it's a busy morning.
6 floors of flooding, did you say?
Yeah, they're doing work on our roof, close to our elevator shaft, and the water's coming from the roof all the way down through all the floors. So we've got pooling in various areas.
Oh my gosh. Nightmare.
Yeah. It's not a fun morning, but
well, thank you for taking time to join us. It's good to hear your voice.
Thanks.
Yeah, so how's because I think last time we spoke you were pretty much full, right?
We are still pretty full. We have 2 notices going to higher care from assisted living, so we'll be working on those. I've actually, I said to Jamie, I've been pulled into the scheduling or the operations side of things for scheduling HR because of one team member being on part days because of an illness, and then the scheduler role being vacant. So I'm kind of pulling triple duty right now, but
you're amazing.
Hopefully
with 6 floors of flooding. Oh my goodness, Kim.
Yeah.
You're an amazing woman. I'll give you that, because there's so many things you can just pull together, right?
Well, you just got to do what you do and until it gets done. So you pick the priority and go from there. So I haven't done a lot with uploading pictures and things lately. I'm hoping after I get back from a conference in Alberta next week that I'll have a bit more time to do that.
That's a conference with all of you guys, correct?
It is, yeah.
That's exciting, because I don't think they've done that before, have they?
No, I actually pushed for it. When H&H first purchased Airdrie, they never had a marketer on site before.
No.
So when they purchased Cedarwood or Airdrie location, they got me in the mix, and I was the only one for quite some time. And then when I decided I was coming out here, they brought Shannon on, and then they've, as you know, elaborated from there. And now every site has one, which is it's great, but we're all doing very different roles. So I had pushed for it, suggesting that, we needed to get together and talk about what that looks like as a whole for all of us. We should all have a similar focus. So the whole idea is kind of find out where everyone's at and get together on where we're all going. So yeah, looking forward to it.
What dates of the conference, Kip?
I'm leaving Thursday, but the conference is actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Of next week. Nice.
Of next week in Alberta. So it's we're doing some tours of the 3 sites there, because the 2 other Okanagan girls have never been to Alberta for the site.
Yes.
So we're doing some tours and some brainstorming and best practices and all that stuff.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I really love it. I really love it. One of the things that we've pushed to Vic that we're still waiting on an answer for was we created renderings, 3D renderings for the room plans. So we picked Red Deer because it was the most recent one. And the plan would be that on the plans on the website, that rather than just a black, sketch one-dimensional, is that people get this 3D colored painted version, which I think is so much more attractive. And so as I say, we've done them for Red Deer, and we're just waiting. I don't know whether Vic's waiting to show everybody at this conference, maybe. But our plan is to sort of roll that out to each website, so you actually get 3D renderings of the suites and stuff.
Yeah, I know Shannon had wanted that from Cedarwood. She had asked Vic about it a while ago.
Yeah.
And then I knew that Vic had put out to get some inquiries to see what that looked like and such. And I think it's a great idea. Coming from a hotel background, I worked in hospitality for 10 plus years prior to this. So we have those 3Ds, and it really is beneficial. A lot of our sites, residents or potential residents are moving from away to come in. So if they can see something 3-dimensional online, it makes a huge difference.
Yes, it does. And the other piece to that is the Google Street View tour of the inside of the buildings. You know, you can do a 360 of the inside of the lobby and the dining room and so on. We can't do those. It has to be a Google partner that does those, but there's a company that you pay and they literally come and have the special Google camera to do that and then upload it to Google Maps. And that's the other piece that we recommended would be a great idea. And Vic was getting a quote to do all of the Hamlets during the summer at the same time. So hoping
I think that quote is done. I think it would actually went, there was a quote done that went to the GMs to review. We haven't heard anything back on it. Originally, we had talked about it at one of our meetings. I'm going to say about 2 months ago, doing some work. So I don't know if the GMs have approved it or not, because realistically, those are outside of our budget.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, I think it was $300 for the first film, and then I think $150 to $200 per extra room. So depending on how many, if you wanted like how many rooms, not rooms per se, but areas that you wanted, it's probably $500 at least per location. So
yeah, the more we can do online, the better, to be honest with you.
Especially, I mean, I did it with a dentist office. It was one of those offices that looks really crappy from the outside, but it's beautiful on the inside. So we had the guy in, and we get so many views on Google for this 360 because he has really nice lobby and like gaming consoles for kids while they're waiting, and the waiting room looks very spa-like rather than dentistry. And yeah, no, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Yeah. Okay. So I know we wanted specifically, and also with photographs, by the way, you know, Jamie's here to help. You know, if you're out of time or you have stuff on your phone that you just can't get to, I mean, just shoot her a Dropbox or an email, and she'll take care of it. That's what she's here for, to help. You know.
Yeah, no, and it's honestly, it just hasn't been because as it's standing, I'm training a new scheduler, so I don't actually have a computer to log her in. So she's logged in as me, and so I can't actually log into a computer to download it. Anyway, it's kind of a headache all around, but hopefully in the near future.
I know you're working on it, and we'll get it. We've been.
Do you have an iPhone, Kim?
No, I don't. I switched to Samsung a few years ago, and yeah, I can't switch back.
Well, I hear you. It's just there's a shared albums function now on iPhones, so you can invite someone to an album through the iCloud, and we get quite a lot of shared albums from clients as well now, just from phone to phone. But you have to have an iPhone. I'm
a Samsung girl too.
Oh, Jamie, do you want to look at there's a shared album function in Alti on Android? I'd be surprised if there isn't.
That.
Yeah, I forgot you're an Android. Yeah. Anyway, Jamie's done a lot of checkers off the emails that you sent us for the website. And I know you said nothing got done, but I think it was just a caching issue, which you probably refreshed and had a look. But I know today we want to specifically talk about how we can help you make the most out of your website for Vernon, right?
Yeah, so I had been talking to Vic about this because I know that you've been in contact with Vic about our website, and I guess my questions and concerns are we still sticking with stock photos, or like I find
if we have photographs that are good enough quality to replace them with, I would far prefer that. Google, everybody would prefer that. Yeah.
I'm just going to pull it up here. Sorry, I meant to have it up earlier, but so with the website, and I know that you did some changes to the team one. You sent the example out for the team one for Penticton site.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mark and I had a discussion about that, and there's certain things that we're going to do a little bit differently here, in that I don't. Like the comments that I sent back to you, I don't like that one biography was first person, the next biography was third person. So Mark and I are going to come up with a format that it's the same format all the way through. I think consistency is really what we want to see on our site. But one of my concerns was when I looked at the colors, are we moving away from the Pantone colors? Is that
so? What it was. When we designed originally when we took over, every single Hamlet site was identical. And basically all you had to just read the text and the logo to see which one it was. So we rebuilt them in a much newer version of WordPress. And we have the Hamlet's Pantone for the logo. But what we tried to do was give each locality a slightly different Pantone feel. So for the Okanagans, we went more for the earthy colors, and with Alberta, we went more to the sort of harder colors. So each site it's not a Pantone per se for the Hamlet. We tried to give each site their own color palette that was which was tonal, but just slightly different. So when you arrived on one to the other, you could see a difference. So that was just a creative design decision on the design of each site. So yeah, there's no specific Pantone per all the Hamlets. We tried to make them all look a little different.
Okay, so those are things that we can work on with you then if we wanted something a little different.
Absolutely, yeah. Because if you've got, like, I know you've got that red on your outside of the building, and you've got some different colors on your building, which, especially on the inside, your color palette is so different than Penticton's. We can totally pick up on that.
Yeah, our building is very unique. It's very modern, much like Red Deer. It's very much more modern in style. So we don't have those white walls. We don't have the wainscoting, things like that. So we've really moved away from that, which is more what Penticton and West Side are like. So not to say any better or worse. I mean, Cedarwood is very traditional.
It's an evolution, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Cedarwood is very traditional in their tones, right? Like they're very colonial kind of way, and we're just so different that I just would like to move away from that. And then with the so if we sent you, and I don't know the conversations you've had with the executive team, be it Vic, Hendrik, or Andre.
Truthfully, Kim, not very much.
Okay.
Vic's a busy guy, and I politely re-email him multiple times. But we don't get as many conversations as probably we would like, but it's what it is. Okay. So.
Yeah, I just I really want to personalize, and Mark and I have had conversations about this. We really want to personalize our page and make it specific to the site itself.
Yeah.
You know, getting rid of nearly all stock photos and moving towards people that are actually in our building. And
we would love that.
And the team aspect of things. So is there styles of pictures that you want, or should I be just replicating what you currently use? Like, I'm just trying to get an idea of what that picture looks like.
I can send you, we have when we set up a brand new site with a client, we have a photo guide, which I can send you, which is quite different than what we have on the Hamlets, because truthfully, it's difficult to get a ton of stock photography of senior people without looking the same as every other living site on the planet. So we hunted high and low to find things that really weren't used. But when you're doing 6-7 different sites, it's not super easy to find different pictures for each site. But obviously, at that time, we were in communication with the sites as closely as we are now. So yeah, if we can get better pictures, if it was similar sort of views to what we have aspect-wise, because we have to go from mobile to desktop. So certain pictures translate. But the context is what we never get, which is like the background to the lobby or the background to the building or the dining room. If we can get pictures, even if it's sort of like portrait mode where it's a little blurred out at the background, but it's more, when people arrive, they're like, oh, I know this, I've seen this on the website. Of course, that would be perfect.
Okay, yeah, if you can send me that photo guide, then I'll start working on that. Because I mean, we're fortunate in the sense that we've got some access to some photography. We've got a nice camera on site that we purchased. Yeah, we've got a camera on site. Like, we've purchased a decent camera that's got a bit of a lens on it, like a zoom lens and things like that. We've got access to that here, so we've got a bit of an advantage. And I'd like to, if you have that guide, then I can just start checking through when we're doing events and things like, on our Father's Day, people come in all dressed up. We can do a nice family photo and use that family, right? And
yes, yeah. And obviously the other thing is consent forms. If we're showing specific people, that first of all, and second of all, if they leave or pass on, that we have a legacy connotation to that too.
So we, on site, we have to have consent forms for every format of it. So like our photo consent form consents to photos used internally, used on our website, used on Facebook, used in print advertising and newspaper articles. So we have a list, like an actual list. So I wouldn't send you something that we couldn't use.
That's great. Yeah.
On our website.
So anything that you send, we'll be able to use, like if I wanted to use it in blogs, like I asked about that pet therapy image, we'd be able to just go ahead and use it?
So if I'm posting on Facebook, it's because they've agreed to use it on Facebook, but not necessarily have they agreed to use it on our website. So that's a catch-22. If I send you something, I will make sure that it's something that can be used universally. So if they check the box that says all photo consents, meaning they've agreed to everything, then that's what I would send you. So I would only send you pictures that they said all, because then you could use it for print, you could use it for, well, you wouldn't need it for print, but you could use it for the website, you could use it for blogs, advertisements, things like that.
Perfect, thank you.
Great. Yes. Okay, I'll get that photo guide to you today.
Yes, thank you. I will tell you that I probably won't look at it until after I come back from conference, but I will definitely start working on that and come up with a plan.
And then are you also gonna then start with the team page, and we can build that on your site as well if you send me all the images and whatever your bio for each person is?
Yeah, so Mark and I will be working on that once the scheduler's up and running, because we want to send out so that everybody fills out the template the same way.
Yeah.
So that, you know, it doesn't seem like, you know, Mark's more important than Leanne or anything like that, right? So that's kind of where our focus is, and so we want to create a template which everyone fills out the same way, and then if both Mark and I like the third person, so it's like, you know, Mark has done this, not like I this, right? It's going to be third person for our perspective.
What do you think your lead time is going to be on that then? Like not for a few more weeks yet?
Yeah, we're going to be a little while yet. I'm going to say you won't have that complete until probably closer to the end of August. I'm away for 3 weeks, starting July 26th. I'm away until August 16th.
July
so
26th.
Given my time frame away, you might not have it.
That's great.
I'm sorry, did you say July 26th to August 16th?
July 26th to August 16th, yeah.
I'll write that down so I don't email you. I'll leave you alone on your time off.
You can email. I'll be in Nova Scotia, so I will not be answering. But yeah, no, I'm going to say probably towards the end of August. So if you've got other sites that are going to have it ready prior to that, please focus on them first.
No problem. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah.
And as we're looking at our team page, I noticed when you did the Penticton one, you just had a stock photo of an elderly person, if memory serves me correctly, on the top. So I again can send you a nice picture of our team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Google loves unique, and we love unique. We just never had the joy of being able to have it. So this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you send to us, the more we'll use it, however you like it.
Okay. And then with the vlogs and stuff, I know I've seen a lot of it coming up on Facebook, but I find that there's a lot of repetitive vlogs. So like you'll write a vlog, but it'll go for all the sites. Is there ways to like stretch out the timeline? And I know that because I'm on all the Hamlet Facebook pages, I see it come up, but I just find it's very repetitive. I'm just wondering if we can stretch out the timeline. So like if there's one on the Hamlets at Vernon that is, you know, answering the call. I'm just looking at one, answering the call, Canada has no age limit. It seems like it happens on Vernon, then tomorrow it's on Red Deer, and the next day it's on Deer Park, and it kind of goes through like every day. Can we have for our site, can we have a bit of a different timeline so that it's not right next door the next day kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, we typically we try and do 2 blogs a month. One is for SEO, which is deliberately for keyword search that we're refining. And then one we try to do is very specific to the location. As we get the details of a location and a story to do that. So Jamie writes one very specifically, ideally, and then we do one for Google SEO. But yeah, and we can do, I mean, very few people, I guess some people might look at a couple of different cities if they're looking to locate, but typically the only people that look at the other hamlets is the people at the hamlets, as a rule, but I know what you're saying.
Well, in the interior, so I think you could probably look at the two, you could probably look at the 6 sites that you market, because I don't know how much you really market the Surrey location, but the 6 sites, yeah, I didn't figure you did. So we have 3 interior health sites, and we have 3 AHS or Alberta Health Services sites. So I think if we look at those as 2 separate, so like, I guess for me it's more Penticton and Kamloops, because oftentimes people will look at both us in Kamloops or us in Penticton, because some families, like daughter lives in Vernon but son lives in Kamloops, or vice versa. So oftentimes we have families that will look at both, and that's why the stretch of the time change would be better. Specifically with interior sites, like we sometimes get lumped together because, you know, and the same as Airdrie, Red Deer. Some people have family in Red Deer and Airdrie, so it's like we kind of get lumped as 3 and 3.
Yes.
So as a rule, Kim, I have a little schedule, and I try to separate Vernon as much as I can with the content. I will try to spread it out a little farther between all of the hamlet, just so that you're not on the same time. But sometimes if you go too far, then it's old news, and then it's useless. And then, so I kind of get stuck in that at times. Like, you know, I don't want my time of content building to go to waste. So sometimes I need to just get it in there, if that makes sense. In my my brain, that makes sense.
And I do get that. There's not much sense in doing something, you know, summer in the Okanagan and posting it in November. Like, that doesn't make sense. I totally get that.
So I'll work a little harder on trying to spread that out for Vernon. I do have a spreadsheet that I try to make sure that I don't post the same things on the same day. And, you know, it's a big spreadsheet. So I'll try a little harder to spread Vernon's out a little thinner or thicker. Okay. However you want that.
And for blog ideas or for article ideas or things to maybe put onto Facebook, a couple things for the Vernon site that I would suggest if you're interested. There's a boat cruise, like it's a 1-hour boat cruise that we participate in. It's called Heaven Can Wait. Oh. And it's what it is. It's actually a completely volunteer-based group here in Vernon, where we can take people in full wheelchairs onto a pontoon boat, and they go out for an hour around the Okanagan Lake.
Oh, beautiful lake.
Yeah, completely accessible, and it's only the people that get to use it are seniors and disabled. So it's a great program we've been doing for a couple of years. We go out and do it, and I mean, we will be posting some pictures of them in the very near future. I think our first boat cruise is next week or the week after. But if you wanted to look at some blog ideas, Heaven Can Wait is an option. Okay. The other thing that we will be doing this summer, and our first one is on the 17th, is the kangaroo farm. So in Lake Country, there's actually a kangaroo farm that you can go in and pat kangaroos, and it's that whole pet therapy going back to that. So again, we will have some pictures of that on the 17th. We go there. So if you're looking for some suggestions or ideas or things to see and do for seniors, those are a couple of suggestions that I would have that are more open.
If you could get me a few pictures that we have full consent would be great too.
Yeah, I'm actually going on the boat. I can't remember if it's the 17th or the 23rd. It's right before I go. I'm actually going on the boat, so I will be taking the camera and getting some really good pictures. And the same with the kangaroo farm. One of them I'm going on the 17th, and one of them I'm going on the 23rd. I just don't know which one's which, but I will get you some pictures from that.
Oh, I can't wait. The kangaroo farm. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I mean, they call it the kangaroo farm, but there's lots of other animals there they have a reptile area, they have birds, sugar gliders, all kinds of things. So it's just a great atmosphere, great family-friendly atmosphere. But yeah, our residents go every year. So
amazing.
That is, I never knew about that. That's awesome.
And it just seems like a place to have a kangaroo farm.
It is. You know what though? And it's funny because they used to do it by donation, so there was no charge to get in. You just had to make a donation, and you could make it depending on what it is. But I think now for a family of 4, it's $20 or something. Like it's really inexpensive.
That's still a great price. Yeah.
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 So you can always leave more and things like that. But
That's
and then other ideas for going into like the fall winter, like fraud is huge. Like if you fraud, so like phone frauds, like RC, what is it called? The tax one. We get a lot of phone calls on that.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
The Revenue Canada one.
Yeah, there you go, the Revenue Canada one. So blogs on that would be super helpful.
Yeah, we've done one. We've done one on internet security as well. How engaged are your residents? Are they pretty engaged in the internet or not at all?
Our complex care is not really at all. I mean, our young adults, yes, but our other seniors, not really. With our assisted living, they are engaged, and you will see them post or comment on things as well. So we do hear it quite a bit. So between that, but also families, right? Like we have, for our complex care side of things, we have a lot of families that are on our Facebook. Yeah. So those fraud things is super beneficial for them, and
I have a few blogs in the works with that, so that's good. And with the people that are engaged, if somehow you and I could start building stories around the engagement, especially your young adults, because lots of people just think it's for seniors, right? Regardless of assisted living. So if we could start really working with images with that, that's a great place to start, right? And then if they're engaged, they get their families engaged, and next thing you know, we have like huge conversations, which is awesome.
Yeah, I actually have somebody in mind that I'm thinking of, Melissa, who's been on our Facebook a few times. She's our youngest resident here at, she's 24, and she is quite engaged on Facebook. So, we'll start.
Chartwell, and I'm not saying this for the young adults, but it's more of an analogy, but Chartwell, that old lady that's on the commercials, and she talks about what it's like to live there. If you could find somebody or a group of people, few people that you could get that would do a little video excerpt of what they like about it, or whatever you guys want to talk about. Funny stuff too is humor is great. People lose humor. It's like sometimes the articles and everything's so dry, and it's like, do they not have humor in their life anymore? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if little video excerpts of them would be great, like a 15-second or 30-second video, those go really good on Google, right?
Kim, just a random question. When did you officially open? Was it January 2018?
No, our official opening date was September 21st, I think what this, 2017.
17.
Wow.
Yeah, September 21st was our official first resident moved in, and then we had our grand opening was in January. That's probably what you're thinking. So we did our grand opening in January.
There's a box on Google to put official opening date, so I just thought I'd add it. So.
Yeah, no, the January was because we opened in stages. So when we opened in September, we only opened one floor, and then we opened the next floor 3 weeks later. So
yeah. Looking also, is there any chance of getting any more reviews, do you think, written on Google?
I'm sorry?
Is there any chance of getting any more Google reviews written?
Yeah, that's one that Mark and I have been talking about, and we've talked to a few of the residents, families, and things like that. The unfortunate part is that a lot of residents will write you a little note, but they won't go on and write a review. And some of that is they don't have Gmail accounts and they don't want to set up an email account, So that's one we're going to work on probably more towards the fall when I get back into the role.
Yeah.
We're also going to work with the staff. We actually have, as Mark calls it, bribing, but whatever.
Whatever works. I don't call it bribing in my house, but I use it all the time.
We have one of our contract companies gave us a few bottles of wine to give out to the staff because he interacts with them quite a bit. And I said to Mark, I want to do it where if you write a review, your name goes into a draw and you can win a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And Mark's exact comment to me was, isn't that bribing? And I'm like, yep, but you do it with your kids, so why can't we do it with our staff?
No, we don't bribe. We offer options. Here's an option.
You do it one way or another.
You get a chance to win. That's awesome. I think you should do that, and because even staff reviews, that still sends your markup, right? So
it does, yeah. So we are going to work on that. We've also been working with a couple of our contractors, trying to encourage them to write a review on us, and I would write one back on them. So I'm working with a couple of contractors as well, just from a different perspective.
Cool.
Sounds good.
But yeah, unfortunately, residents is a tough one for us because
it's a tough one for all of them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the demographic, and as we get going along a little further, as we continue to evolve with the internet and things like that, and as the generations change, thinking majority of our care residents are late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Or even beyond. We've got a handful of residents that are 100 or more, right? So those people they're not writing reviews.
No.
And it's trying to get their families to encourage them to write reviews too. So
yeah.
Yes.
I really would love to see some images or names that we could say, hey, here's our over 100, and I can do up a little, something nice for them on Facebook. Also, I really would be interested in learning a lot more about your young adults that you have there and that side of what you do. Yeah. So whatever you can send to me with that would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, our young adult is very different. I know that you, I don't know if you, Jamie, have been to Westside, but I know, Jonathan, you have. Our young adult is very different than what Westside does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our young adult is, we've got a couple of younger ones, but to be completely honest, majority of our young adults are probably closer in their 50 age group. So they're not super young like Westside. You have people in their 20s and 30s. We have a couple, but not many. Majority of ours are in their 50s, and it's Parkinson's, MS, and car accidents are our big ones.
So those would be good blogs to write about. So Parkinson's, MS, and car accidents. So then they're like quadriplegics and stuff, correct?
Yeah, and I mean, ABI, like acquired brain injuries, in the sense that it's not just body function, it's also brain as well, right? And their ability to verbalize and things like that.
Yeah.
So now I got a list of 4 things for blogs for Vernon. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
That's why these communications are so great. At some point, Jonathan won't hold my hand, and I'll be taking over these on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed, Jamie, Kim, but Jamie has now, her husband built a home office. So we're calling it the shed, but because Jamie's kids are homeschooled a little bit, but Jamie now has her own personal office, which is just getting finished. So she's got her own working space.
A huge difference.
So it's outside of the house or inside of the house?
Outside of the house. Well, I have a unique situation. My parents live with me, so we're like multi-generational. So I have no room in my house. So my husband had to build me a little shed. So it's actually a multi-purpose. It's my office during the day. It's got a couch that pulls out to a bed for if I have company, which my dad's coming down. So it's multi-purpose, but mainly it's a she shed, and I love it.
I mean,
Nice.
she's welcome to come in the office any day of the week, but anyway, it's, yeah.
You know what? I think everybody needs their own space. My husband and I, my husband's a musician by hobby, and so he has his man cave in the basement with tons of musical instruments and such. And I have my ladies' lounge, which is more of a quiet space and more zen space. So
oh, I like it.
We both have our places in the house.
Yeah. Well, we were running out of places, so we just had to build one.
Well, plus you have your place in the interior as well, right?
Who, Jamie or me?
Jamie does. Yeah.
Oh yes, a little recreation property in Princeton. So I was down in Penticton this weekend. I did a site visit. So maybe one of these days I'm coming your way too.
Come on up. Just don't make it while I'm away, because otherwise I won't be here. But
no, I got your dates. I want to meet you, so I have your dates, and after that, we'll find time, and I want to see your building. I think it's just
me too.
The images.
Yeah, it's very unique. Like I've had the benefits. Actually, was talking this morning. We just brought on a new care coordinator, and we were just chit chatting. And I said, you know, I've worked at 2 of the sites in Alberta, and I've done little projects at all 3 of the sites here in the Okanagan. And I said, you know, everyone is unique in its own way, and ours is so different, and the color scheme and I mean, just being downtown, right? That's so different. I mean, we've had to create larger balconies and things like that. So
yeah, it's funny because in 2007 I worked out of Kelowna and Vernon for a year with a client, and I know Vernon really well, but I just have never been back. So yeah, love to.
Yeah, you'll need to come back and take a look at them.
Well, if I'd have been in town, I would have flown up to Red Deer for the official opening, but I was at the clients in the States. But no, I'd love to. It just makes so much more visual sense when I've seen it myself, for storytelling and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about at this conference is that, you know, we're all very unique in our settings, and the services that we offer are. You can bulk us all under senior care or ABI, but realistically, we're all very, very unique, and even the demographics within the building, vastly vary. So. Got
it. Great. Well, I'll give Vic another nudge because I was waiting to because we're actually building the Hamlet at Duncan right now as well.
Okay.
Just waiting for some feedback on him to get the go-ahead to make that website go live. So I'm overdue a nudge from him again. So I'll see what I can get. I know he's always busy.
And are you creating the Facebook for Duncan now too?
Yeah.
We have. Yeah, I just Interior, and it's actually earlier than we expected, but Interior Health, so Island Health, I should say, wants to do an official groundbreaking, and they showed up with the MP, the MLA, the chair of the health. I mean, it was a whole media show, and Andre got there like pretty quick. And within a day, I had press releases from Island Health and video and drone footage. And Lisa's saying, we need to get this out like straight away. I went, we can, but I didn't know it was that soon. I thought I had 6 months more to play with. But anyway, it's all done. Jamie did a great job. We literally got it ready last week. So the goal is to have it ready. I mean, it's ready now. I'm just waiting for approval from Vic. So
that actually is another topic of conversation. Randomly over the weekend, we were talking about drones. Is that of an interest to have drone footage of the site?
I think so, because it gives context. If you're allowed to film in the city, that's there's a lot of laws for airfields and so on. But what I liked about the drone footage, and we've done this for a number of clients, but the one we got for Interior Health from Island Health, I should say, it just gives you the scale of the property and how much green space is around Duncan. I mean, it's beautiful. And we've done it at UBC, but we haven't been able to do it at some of the sites just because you're just not allowed in a city space. But I mean, there is an airfield in Vernon. I don't know whether they would allow us legally because you can't put it on YouTube if it's not legal.
Well, funny enough, my husband is a drone pilot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we were talking about it because he was doing some drone work last week, and he was the photographer for an event that went on in town here this past weekend, and anyway, we were talking about various drones and things, and I said I don't know that we would have a need for it here, and so anyway, we were just talking about drones, and I was like, I wonder if that would be something that would.
Well, I mean, because you're so in the city, and when people realize, I mean, when we did that map and we just painted your building and made it stick out on the city plan, I mean, it's like so central. It would be great. I mean, there was a backlash last week when the Raptors came to Toronto and they did all this drone footage of the crowds, and apparently it was totally illegal. And but it happened and it was already done. But if we're allowed to, and the CRA provisioning's not CRA,
FDA.
FDA, thank you.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to do it, and somebody could, I think it would be great.
I'm going to look into it and see, because I know proximity to the airport and things like that have effects.
I can picture it already. That beautiful building, and then come up and then see all around the city with this beautiful building. Just
it would. Yeah, if we're allowed to do it.
Well, I'm going to find out, because I mean, he's doing all kinds of stuff with various projects here in Vernon, the Okanagan. So, and a lot has changed with I mean, he actually went and did like a drone course, and he went and did his advanced licensing and piloting and stuff like that. So he's got lots of.
Yeah, we did some recently where there was it was an oversized cargo, and it was coming out of Hope and then into Harrison there, and we got footage coming off Highway 1 and over the bridge, and these big tanks were delivered, propane tanks were delivered, and it was phenomenal footage. And I worked with the guy literally right next to him for all of it, and it was great. But yeah, I don't know if it was Triton Transport, but if we can get it, great.
Yeah, I'll find out, because there's been a lot of change since June 1st with drones and the regulations. So I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Kim. This has been a lovely call. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I will touch base with you, I guess, in August. We'll have to plan for the latter part of August, because I won't be around for the first part of it.
Okay, my
yes,
friend.
well, we'll work on that for sure. And just shoot me if you need anything.
Will do. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.
Okay. Bye now.